This can deter other people from trying to challenge you in the future. I want to raise a simple question. Do you really think the person that co-wrote the book, The 50th Law of Power, really went into an interview with Cam and didn't expect this question to come up?
I got out my deal with 50. Fifth was like, listen, I'll let you out your deal. Just pay me back in $300,000 worth of mechanicals. Mechanically, you owe me $300,000 for the investment that I've put in it. So I had to pay him back mechanically. So from the sales of my product is how he'll get paid back. So he calls me one day and he's like, listen, I got this idea. I'm going to say, I don't like you. I'm going to say, I want to punch you in the nose. I'm going to tell you, hey, you owe me $300,000. And simultaneously, I'm going to mention to them that how can you not have money to pay me when your album is #1? Psychology of people is like, what am I missing? Wait, Ro got a #1 album where? What's going on? And that's how it blew. I'm like, yo, this worked because he had made awareness to the project. So in making awareness, he's collecting, he's getting his money back faster because it's staying #1 for the next 2 weeks. That was the brilliance of 50.
Nigga's a mastermind, baby. This nigga's a pure fucking alterated genius.
50 Cent.
Perhaps he was doing this for Jim Jones while he was dropping new music. For some reason, I think people aren't giving 50 credit for the mastermind in business he actually is and the 50 laws of power he lives by.
You can have a slight paranoia that helps you be aware. There's some things in there that you might feel like are evil, but you need to be aware of them because someone else's intentions might be very well what that law of power is. You know, so like when I got
verses from the book,
we even brought it down to the perspective of a person that's in a staff meeting that is watching someone else raise their hand to answer a question that they know the answer to. Then that means that person deserves to be ahead of you in life because your fear of being wrong at that point is not allowing you to create your value in the workspace.
When I wrote the 48 Laws of Power, at the time, this goes back quite a while, way back, even before you were born maybe, there was a thing called Netscape Navigator, which was the major kind of, it was like Safari or Windows back then. And Microsoft ended up buying Netscape Navigator and crushing it and eliminating it completely. And I was thinking, this is the real dynamic in the business world. It's a merciless, ruthless world, particularly in tech, where the goal is to crush your competitors.
It's a fact.
But nobody talks about it that way, right? And so my observations, personal observations, my own.
It's a straight white man letting niggas know this is how they think. And 50 adapted that thought process of him by reading that book. He adapted this man's thought process by reading that book, B. And this is the reason we got this. This is the reason he came up. The reason he came up with this book is because this is how he thinks. And he wanted to let niggas know this is how the men think, B. And 50 Cent adapted that thought process.
At the time, this goes back quite.
Answer a question that they know the answer to. Then that means that person deserves to be ahead of you in life because your fear of being wrong at that point is not allowing you to create your value in the workspace.
When I wrote the 48 Laws of Power, at the time, this goes back quite a while.
That's who 50 Cent think like.
Before you were born, maybe. There was a thing called Netscape Navigator, which was the major kind of, it was like Safari or Windows back then. And Microsoft ended up buying Netscape Navigator and crushing it and eliminating it completely. And I was thinking, this is the real dynamic in the business world. It's a merciless, ruthless world, particularly in tech, where the goal is to crush your competitors. But nobody talks about it that way, right? And so my observations, personal observations, my own experience, and things that I observed in the news, the kind of stuff that people don't talk about. Because when it comes to power, we're almost embarrassed by it.
In this video, we are going to get into what actually happened and see if we can put this question to rest. Did 50 Cent cause the problems between Cam and Jim to reignite? Or was he simply answering a question and had no part in this?
When Cam interviewed 50, he talked about the beef that him and 50 had back in the days. And then Cam elaborated that, yo, you played chess by having Jim Jones come and perform at a show. And Cam did identify that there was some internal issues with Dipset, and he was like, I wanted to see.
It sounds like he wanted to do.
Seen the Breakfast Club, Jimmy be popping all that bullshit. I'd be seeing you, Jimmy.
And see, this is how crazy. Look, this is where this nigga mind is at, big. Look at this, big. Watch this one.
That was the most funniest shit ever. Like, I like the picture of Mel Murder.
So your man, Mano, Big Mano from Brooklyn. So back in the days, 50 Cent did him a big, giant favor. He walked him into Atlantic and got him that deal. That's why we heard High Haters and all them hits Mano put out. Let's see. This is how we got Mano. It was because of 50 Cent. 50 Cent is the one who brought us Mano. If it wasn't because of 50 Cent walking Mano inside Atlantic and getting them that deal, we wouldn't have a Mano now. Mano, the rapper, top hits. Okay, All of the Above. That was a big one. In 2009, he dropped that one. That was his biggest one right there. High Hater and High Hater. High Hater was a big one for Mano. So you wouldn't have got High Hater and All the Above if it wasn't because of 50 Cent. 50 Cent is the reason why we got that. So, So 50 Mano explains to us. Hold on, here you go. Mano explains why 50 Cent stopped fucking with him. And it's because he liked a picture that Jim Jones put up. Jim Jones put a picture up on his Instagram and Mano liked it, and 50 Cent got mad.
I wasn't tapped into the funniest shit ever. Like, I like the picture of Mel Murder. I wasn't tapped into the particulars of the back and forth, because from what I understood, that I always known them to have a decent relationship. They was cool or whatever. And they was going back and forth on the workout shit. But you know, when you're scrolling down, like I've seen Mel Murder. He from Bed-Stuy, he from the hood, so I liked it. He locked up. That's it. It wasn't no nefarious intentions behind it, and that was just it. And you know, when he put up the post, I hit him back like, "You overthinking, bro."
Yeah, he said, "Nah, I never forget, never will."
Right.
So he helped you get your first
Absolutely.
deal?
Never
Really?
forget, never will. Not my first deal, my second deal, the one with Atlantic.
The big deal. That was the big deal. The first deal, niggas didn't know you. The deal with Atlantic, when he walks you on Atlantic and got you the millions and changed your life, and this is why we are knowing Mano now, is because 50 Cent.
I will never forget, never will. But at the same time, you overthinking, because it wasn't about nothing else. You understand? And how serious could it be?
It's liking of a picture.
Yeah, like, what are we talking about? That was the most funniest shit ever. Like,
Liking of a one to the mind of Jim Jones back then at this time.
It's about who's the biggest. Understand? Once you get that bull in the pot, you dealing with niggas from the ghetto.
We picking these niggas' brain. I'm trying to get you to see how these niggas both think, man.
You dig?